Sportsfeld. And I was supposed to say that you can watch us on YouTube now.
Yeah.
Specifically on YouTube.
People did.
You can go to YouTube and watch a Sportsfeld episode.
And just watch us do this.
You can watch Sportsfeld on YouTube.
It's what I've always wanted, is to watch Sportsfeld on YouTube.
Sportsfeld is now on YouTube.
If you haven't heard, Sportsfeld, it's on YouTube. And here's the first mic adjustment of the day.
Hey, Jake and Zubes, you're on video now. Where do we find the episodes?
Hello, camera.
You find them on YouTube.
Yeah. Not YouTube/Sportsfeld, but Sportsfeld on YouTube.
Just search. I mean,
that's not it. Just
odds
search.
are you're following the link from Twitter, but
if you're not, who knows? Maybe it pops up in your, you might also like.
Maybe you're listening to the show right now on your podcast.
And you're like, I don't want to just listen to it.
Say, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
YouTube. And you type in Sportsfeld on YouTube, and here we are.
Yeah.
It's been a week. We're our second week back after our summer break.
Feels good.
And everything that happened last week has progressed.
Yeah. Isn't that fun how that works?
Bianca Andreescu. It's Andreescu.
Jimmy Kimmel did not know that.
US Open champion.
Crazy.
Asterisk free.
I've been paying for that one for 7 days.
You have.
A thing I don't really believe that I just happened to say.
Correct. We are days away from the beginning of Maple Leafs training camp.
Yep.
And we are
crazy that people watch Bianca's match when there's the prospect tournament happening.
Running on fumes in terms of Maple Leafs news.
I mean, honestly, it's been kind of nice to sort of, like with the Raptors going so deep and then summer,
you sort of
just
forget.
like ignoring it.
You sort of forget that this is what people do.
And then there's a hit of like one thing happens and everyone talks about it for 4 days. It's like, right, Toronto.
And we are going to be one of those 4 days.
Yes, we are.
And also the Blue Jays' biggest weakness exposed.
Not a lot of pitching in the C-dot.
Which we talked about. We also called them sneaky watchable, which was immediately refuted by a terrible week of baseball. They lost 7 straight games in between the times we had.
Honestly, you could have told me they went 4-2 and I'd be like, yeah, 4-3. That's math.
So lots to talk about in all those topics. Really, the only thing was any Raptors news. There wasn't really.
Yeah, not really.
Off-season workouts continue.
Everyone's excited for it.
But there are, it's training camp time.
Marc Gasol, though, tearing up the Fevers.
Marc Gasol, and because we're not going to talk about Raptors on this show, we'll do it right now. Marc Gasol is going to have a very good year.
And I think that the development of Pascal Siakam will be helped by the presence of Marc Gasol.
I think
everyone's going to, lost in the Kawhi and the Danny, I get it. Mm-hmm. But everyone forgets that Marc Gasol's coming back.
Correct. And he is a veteran. We've been over it many times. And he took a conscious step back as a big part of the offense last year. He said, I am maybe the 5th most important offensive player in the court sometimes. We're going to see a little bit more about what it's like when Marc Gasol is an important part of the offense.
Yes, and I also think he's going to play 43 games this season because of load management, which is fine, which is great. But he's 34. Load manage him.
Marc Gasol passing. You'll love to see it.
It's so fun. I missed Marc Gasol passing.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun year. But we digress. We dig right into the world of sports.
That's what we do.
Saturday afternoon, Bianca Andreescu.
A lovely way to spend a couple hours.
Great stuff. Wins the US Open. Jake, it is time for you to admit you have no idea why you said what you said last week.
Correct. I still don't. Been hearing about it for 7 days, like I said.
Halfway through saying it, you were like, what am I doing?
Yeah. I don't even believe the take. It's awesome that she won the Canadian. Who cares?
2-0 against Serena Williams
That's true.
In finals.
This was, I admittedly do not watch a ton of tennis.
Correct. Not correct. I don't know why I said that.
No, but I don't.
Here we are, not knowing why we're saying things.
But great start. That was a tennis match, if I were to sum it up. That was the last, whatever it was, 4 or 5 games were awesome.
It was.
When Serena gets, I don't want to take anything away from Bianca, and if anything, this adds to it.
Correct.
But when Serena gets going, man.
She's on another level.
Unbelievable.
I will say this, as somebody that watched a lot of her in Indian Wells and in Toronto and now at the US Open, if you were only going to watch one Bianca match and understand exactly who she is as a player, that was all of her strengths on display.
And all of her weaknesses, as you talked about last week.
Yes. She almost let her back into that match.
Yeah.
But big one...
knowing nothing really other than that Serena's arguably the greatest athlete of all time.
Yes.
I fully thought she was fucked.
Me too. When it was 5-5, I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
You don't want a third set with this woman. But the big takeaway, and I think the announcers were saying it, was she was overpowering Serena Williams.
Yeah.
She had Serena Williams on the back foot, which is never done. Ever. Ever.
Serena is 37, which by the way shocked me. I had no idea she was that old.
Totally.
But yeah. And I think also you sort of touched on this last week, how Bianca's, like, her forehand is so strong for the women's game.
Masterful.
And Serena's is as well. And they play, from my very untrained eye, they seem to play a sort of similar style.
Very much
in a
so.
similar game. So it was very interesting to see what happens when that sort of style that's somewhat unusual for the women's game, they go against each other.
She emptied the bag. She was breaking out drop shots. She was hitting that powerful forehand. I was very impressed with the mettle, the mental fortitude, as we both just said. At 5-5, we were like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And she then won the next two games.
I mean,
5. That's not easy to do against Serena Williams at the US Open of all places.
There can't be any tougher place to play on the tour.
I don't think
Serena in New York, like that's
looking for number 24. Like that's
and like that was a loud tennis crowd
for sure. The US Open is one of a kind tennis crowd.
But like you're never gonna have I don't think you're gonna have a tougher place to play, like because like even if you're in Wimbledon against a Brit, it's Wimbledon. It's very proper, and like Woody Harrelson got in trouble for like looking weird once, but it's like you. Unless there's another young American, unless she's playing, Townsend in the final next year or Serena again, it's not going to be that kind of environment. And the fact she was able to not only, ignore it or tune it out or whatever and win, and ignore it and tune it out in such a way in that second set when Serena was storming back and everyone was behind her and it was going crazy. And then she settled down and still took the last two. Like, I don't know what else you can ask as a test for a young player.
Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And a young player, an excellent point you make, something that I said last week about how she seemed maybe a little disingenuous when she talks.
Yeah, totally. I texted you watching her post-match. I was like, I know exactly what you mean now.
I will say, though, there is a good chance that that's just how 19-year-olds are. Like, can you imagine talking to a teenager and being like, that was sincere?
Yeah, it's true.
It's just like there's no chance of that ever happening in your life.
But it does sound sort of like she's mocking everyone she talks, which again is very teenager. But like when she was thanking her team, it was like, I couldn't have done it without you. Totally.
Right.
It was like, well,
teenagers, man.
Yeah.
But I think part of that, it's unfair. Obviously, it's unfair of us to do because we don't know her.
And obviously, like, I don't think she is disingenuous.
Correct. But I think part of what makes that stand out is on court, she seems like a savage.
Yeah.
She does not play. Like, she is straight up.
From game, she's not even one of those like players who gets hyped up when they're like making a big point. It's like 15-love in the first game. And
she's hyped. She has like I called it before, like a fuck you swagger.
Yeah. But I think you need, like, it's a one-on-one sport and you're going against the best in the world. Like, you have to.
It's an advantage.
Yeah, I think so. And it's fun.
So
it's very entertaining to watch.
Yeah. And man, just the beginning, 19.
Yeah.
But we said this last week a little bit where Genie Bouchard made a Wimbledon final.
Yep. So did Milos Raonic.
So do you think there is a spot here where we have to be a little careful? And before we're like, oh, she's about to win 20 majors?
I think so. I mean, there's only one Serena, right?
Yes.
And like there's 3 men currently in all of the many, 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 many tennis players. And I don't think, I don't know. But like, I don't think from what we've seen that Bianca's necessarily going to have the drop off that, Genie did. But I also don't think we can sit here and say she's going to win 20. Like, but we talked about last week. First round, the US Open this year was just Serena smoking Maria Sharapova.
That's right.
And that Maria Sharapova was good not that long ago in terms of, sports. And I know she was cheating or whatever. But
she was cheating.
But
yes,
like that wasn't that long ago that she was a top player on the tour. And so I think tennis, we talked about how hard tennis is.
Cruel.
And to stay at that level for a long time, I think is like Serena made her first US Open like 20 years ago. That's insane. Like there's a reason that there's Serena and then there's the rest. And like Venus Williams, who has won many tournaments, is kind of like in the middle now. And no shame in that. She's still one of the best tennis players in the world. But like, it's hard to be at the winning tournaments consistently level, I think.
There's a reasonable path here where a year from now, Bianca is the number 1 seed in the world.
Yeah.
Because
she's 5 now, I think.
She's 5th, and the way tennis points work is it's 12 months. cumulatively.
Right.
So she'll lose her points for winning the US Open next year, the first round of the US Open. But
so she wins one more major kind of thing.
Well,
or even just a bunch of.
She missed 3 months.
WTAs.
She didn't play between Indian Wells and Toronto.
Right.
So all she has to do is show up at the tournament she missed, and she isn't losing any points. Those are all pure gain points. There's a really easy path to her being world number one.
And I guess
if she plays just well in one of those majors.
And I guess then the question of like, sort of, what's the goal?
I think it's world number one.
But I mean, what I mean by that is like, is it holding world number one for a long time, or is it just being that for a minute and then sort of your career is?
That's a good question.
Like your job is like tennis and golf. I think are very similar in that respect, where it's not like there's a season.
Yes,
and it's like the goal is to win the season, plain and simple. As we talked about the Raptors, they won a title, and that will never change. And no matter what, even if they're terrible next year, it doesn't matter. They won a title. But Bianca never wins anything again. All of a sudden, this doesn't matter as much.
Yes. I think I've heard players say the goal is to be number one at the end of the year, because it's
like to have a full 12 months. A
full calendar year of the seasons.
That makes sense.
And just the scoring, you could say the end of the year is anytime. It's 12 months. But December 31st, you want to be world number one.
Right. Even if you become world number one on December 28th, or I know they're not playing, but you know what I mean.
But then it's the cumulative the whole year you were the best player.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think she's a shot at it.
I do too. And I think if that is sort of the goal, then she just won the US Open. There's no reason to think. There's only 4 of those tournaments. There's no reason to think that like she can't win another one.
So of those, we talked about the expectation worry. One thing that makes me think that could be warranted is she's had some injury issues.
Yep, but she's 19, and I'm not comparing myself, but like you heal a lot faster when you're 19 than you do when you're 25, 26.
The thing that makes me dismiss any concerns about expectation was like, I think she's not Jeannie. She's got staying power. She is motivated by tennis and tennis alone, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, and she seems like that. As you said, on the court, it's like, this is what I'm doing. This is my thing. The
moment where I was like, oh, damn, was when she won. Like, she just like, yeah.
Yeah, I found that.
I was like, what?
For someone who also like, she seems to talk about how much it means to her, and I absolutely don't believe that.
Didn't shed a tear.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Not even close.
I absolutely don't want to suggest that I don't think it doesn't mean a lot to her, because it obviously does. But I was also surprised that it was just like, okay, it's over.
Usually,
and she did the same when she made the final. Like it was the same the whole way through, which I find interesting.
Men, this is not just women, men's as well. Like Rafael Nadal was sobbing.
Yeah, and he does that, and he's won fucking 21 of these things.
Usually, like the person like falls on the floor and they like cry. She was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. She eventually did the like hold her head and lay down. But like, even that, she was like, oh, this is an amazing moment.
Yeah, you could see her say like, oh my God. And but that was kind of it.
I'm just like, yeah, oh my God, what I expected to happen happened.
Yeah.
I was like, damn,
that is accomplished a thing that like not many people get to accomplish.
She's barely playing on the tour last year at this time.
She didn't even qualify for this tournament last year.
Scary. She's got it.
Yeah.
She is Canada's sweetheart.
She is. It's kind of amazing in a way that
we've been waiting for this though. We were ready. We were ready for Dennis and Felix to like front run and to wave the flag and puff our chests out. And now,
I think so.
She's snuck up and we're like, oh hell yeah, because she's. You hate to say it. She's Canadian through and through.
Yeah. She's
our Canadian girl. She's
daughter of immigrants.
She'd grow a beard if she could.
Bilingual in a language that's not French. Which is just
unbelievable. Aren't we good at accepting people? Aren't we great?
no problems in this country.
Big old pat on the back for how good we are and all that stuff.
As all the Andrew Scheer ads run through that fucking tournament.
Wet
cardboard piece of shit.
Piece of fucking garbage. Okay, that's some Bianca.
Sure is.
I mean, what else can you say? She's exciting.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm curious as to, because US is the last major of the year, right?
Yes.
I'm curious as to when the Australians in what, February?
Yeah, it's beginning next year.
I'm curious with the A, as we talked about last week, being on an Australian time, and B, being 6 months later, or however many months later, what the hype train is like for her.
That's true. That'd be very interesting. You get late night, you be late at night matches.
Yeah.
But I expect her to be probably a top seed in her block.
Probably, yeah.
And B, I expect her to make a run. I think she'll be in the second week for sure.
Yeah, I think if she wins like her first 2 matches, you'll see it sort of swap again, but I'm curious if it'll be there from like match 1 in Australia.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. We move on to the Toronto Maple Leafs because it's so close to training camp. They go to Newfoundland at the end of the week. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not.
They're on their way to Newfoundland.
That's kind of cool.
We don't know.
I like that. They should go more places. More people need to know that the only team that matters is the Leafs.
You love the team build. The only thing we don't know is if Mitch Marner will be with them.
Starting to feel like no.
It is starting to feel like no.
If you had asked me like 3 weeks ago, I'd been like, yeah, of course he's going to be there.
All summer long, I've been playing this off with like, they learned the lesson from Nylander. It's not going to happen again. Don't waste your time worrying about it.
Well,
capital B, but.
To segue into today's news, I'm not sure it's the Leafs' fault.
Here we go. $11 million AAV over 7 years, reportedly turned down by the Marner camp because not a higher AAV than one Austin Matthews.
Yeah, it's tough. It's
heat it up. Go for it.
So I've a couple points on this.
Please.
One, whoever in the Leafs team leaked this is a fucking genius.
Well, I think they were tired of fucking Paul Marner clearly like talking to Darren Dreger word for word.
Which is my next point, which is if this is true, I'm going to assume it is based on all reports. Paul Marner and Mitch's team are fucking insane.
Well, you have like the point of bargaining
11 for a winger.
The point of bargaining is to
I know
overdo it and come back, right? We heard like the numbers that we between us had heard about Nylander, right?
Yeah.
Before like a week before he signed, we were like, oh my God, they're not even close.
But he also went into December.
This can't go into December. It
can't. And like if the demands of the Marner camp are Matthews AAV, that's just not going to happen.
Austin Matthews is better, full stop.
And he's a center. Mm-hmm. It's not. Jonathan Taves, I believe, makes more than Patrick Kane.
Right.
I should look that up. But
it sounded true.
Even if it's not entirely true, the concept is sound.
Yeah.
Jonathan now you can see
should make more than Patrick Kane, whether that's true or not. I agree with you. This seems, I don't want to say troubling because it's hard to call anything troubling that happens before they even start training camp. But yeah. I am ready for a resolution here. This needs to get popping along because both sides, both Kyle Dubas and William Nylander, have come out and said that they wish they had not handled it the way they handled it and that it made both of their years worse than they had to be. Please, for the love of God, learn that lesson. You are wrong, aren't you?
They make exactly the same.
But
significantly less than Matthews. They're at 10.5 per year.
Anybody that signs for that long in the NHL is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to do.
Like
the cap is constantly fluctuating. But yes, it's frustrating because all we wanted to do was have a really lighthearted conversation about the Maple Leafs. That was the plan. That was the game plan. And now we come in and we have to put on like the capologist hat. We have to pretend that the salary cap matters to us, that I care about cap room when I do not.
No.
Maple Leafs should spend to the cap, to the dollar every year.
Yeah. And like that's a good point about this Marner situation. The money itself isn't an issue.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
for sure.
I don't want to say it's a principle thing because it's not, because it's sports and contracts. There is no principle.
Get your money.
Yeah, absolutely get your money. But like,
just play on the team, please.
But like, you're turning down 8 years of 11 million, which is to the point I just made incorrectly, more money per year than Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane. I know it's signed years later, but still. At
a certain point, he has to decide if he does want to play for the Maple Leafs or not. Right? That's what, if I'm Kyle Dubas, that's what I'm saying is, listen, do you want to play here or not?
But like, is he going to get 10, 11 years at 11 from another team?
If the Detroit Red Wings want to throw him $12 million over 8 years, you have to be like, well, so be it.
I guess, but like, who's throwing that winger? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
He's great. I'm not saying he's not great, but it's just in terms of on ice value, I don't know where he's going to get unless he wants to be just the guy on a shitty team.
Which is like just not how hockey works. It's just not how hockey works.
No, the Florida Panthers are not throwing out a 12/8 deal for you.
Just sign a fucking contract. I don't even care how much it's worth. I don't even. That's the thing is I don't care. If they overpay him, I could not care less.
If they're like, oh, he's here for 13/8, fine,
great,
whatever.
Start the games, please.
Yeah,
I
do think he's going to sign.
I do too. I don't
know when.
Yeah,
but
ultimately, in my heart of hearts, I believe he is going to sign for a sum that we all go, yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah. Well, because like 11 is fine.
That's what he's led the team in scoring the last 2 years.
Yeah, he's excellent.
Very dynamic. He allows them to have Matthews on one line and him on another, and know that both of those lines will produce.
Yep. He pairs well with John Tavares.
It's the only piece. Just finish please just finish this.
Yeah, it's true. He is kind of the last
That's it.
bit of like
everything else is done.
Quake.
Everything else is done. All the defensemen are here. That's who they're rolling with.
And he's the last piece of the project. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
If he locks in for long term, all that discussion for the last 3 years of like, how are they going to keep Riley, Matthews, Marner, and Nylander? Well, they did.
Yes.
And they also added John Tavares.
And I think one thing we can, not implicitly, but one thing I trust about the boy genius and his team is that they can fill out the other crap.
Oh, yeah.
They can fill out the guys who make $1 million. That's not going to be an issue.
I'm also convinced that they've had sort of these slots for these guys worked out for the last 4 years.
100%.
And now it's just like, well, okay.
Let's go.
Fuck,
I think, not to harp on this too long, but both sides know exactly what is like. They know what the team looks like. He knows exactly how good, like where he fits in. He knows how good they can be. Please just sign. Please just sign. Please.
He's going to.
Now I'm begging.
I would put good money on Mitch Marner being a Maple Leaf on opening night.
I like that.
Or like he's still going to be. He's a restricted, so he's still a Maple Leaf. But
yeah, no, I know.
But you know what I mean?
Because
a signed Maple Leaf for
a long time.
And you know what? Like, I'm curious now if the AAV is the sticking point, if they were to offer him 12/8,
jeez,
which still isn't the same AAV as Matthews, because Matthews is over 10, I think. I should look these things up.
NHL contracts.
No one's coming to.
Not anymore.
So glad we're on YouTube.
no one's coming for them anymore. We'll edit it together where you just jump cut and you suddenly.
Yeah, we have editors. We can fix this. Dylan will fix this. No, he's not 10. I'm so stupid. He's on a 5-year deal.
Yes, here's the thing.
It's 11.6 is Matthews.
That was the thing with the 5-year deal doesn't buy out that much of his free agency.
Right.
If it was 11 over 5, he probably
Which, by the way, another thing that people are forgetting, he's not going to Arizona.
Let's worry about playing the 5 years first.
He's staying here. But
it's all good, baby.
So if it's 11, so if he just wants 12/8.
I had a big thing too. We were talking about the captaincy because it was supposedly leaked.
I'm kind of glad this happened because I don't give a shit about the captaincy.
I had this big.
I know it's been a whole thing, but
I had this big thing about why it should be Tavares. I had this big long thing.
Really?
What are we doing here if he's not the captain? What was that whole thing?
I guess I think it should be Riley personally. But.
Just like for me, right? I guess we'll get into it. They had that big thing when Tavares signed, right? He's coming home to lead his team.
Yep.
So you're telling
pajamas and all that.
You're telling me the end of that, his dream was to be the alternate captain. His dream was to be the captain of the Maple Leafs. Why sell that story?
Was it his dream or was his dream just to play for the Maple Leafs?
Well, what are you doing?
Like,
you're drawn to. I know.
Shit.
Ultimately, it's meaningless. And here's my final point on this. The meaninglessness of it means it should go to the most meaningless guy. And to me, that's Tavares.
That's fair. I can hear that. I also think that like Tavares didn't, and I'm going into John Tavares' mind, which like I have no fucking idea.
For sure.
But like he didn't come here thinking that he knows that it's the young guys.
Yeah.
He knows it's their team.
Yeah. So, he should be the captain. Anyway.
But I don't think it's gonna bother him.
It's gonna be Matthews. Doesn't really matter.
It is gonna be Matthews. I think there's an argument made for Morgan Riley.
Sure. I agree with that. I would put Riley second. And I think Tavares, like, it's just like, that's the story you're trying to tell us.
Yeah, I get that.
And he's already been a captain.
Doesn't matter if they don't beat the fucking Bruins in the first round.
Captain doesn't matter.
No.
Want to quickly do the Jays here?
Sure.
They lost 7 straight.
They're not good.
Season high.
Turns out you need pitching.
Well, they have a lot of pitchers. They've used 20.
They have a lot of pitchers.
They used 20 starting pitchers. TJ Zeuch was the 20th guy to start this year.
Got lit up last night.
That is tied for second most all time.
We didn't get lit up, I guess. First pitch.
1967 New York Mets also used 20 pitchers. They went 61 and 101. Perhaps not coincidentally, almost the exact same record as the Blue Jays. The 1915 Athletics, 104 years ago, used 24. I was looking this up because I was writing about it yesterday. Wilmer Font is tied for fourth in the team in starts. If you go to the baseball reference page, Wilmer Font's name is in bold because he is the fourth most probable starter this season.
I genuinely, like a month ago, was like, who is Wilmer Font?
A waiver claim in August as a reliever is fourth on the team in starts.
I saw him. I turned on a Jays game. I saw the name Font with pitches.
That is offensive.
And I said, who is Font?
It's offensive to me that Wilmer Font can be fourth on the team in starts. To have made double digits.
Stroman first?
Yeah, it's like, no, Trent Thornton is first. It's Thornton, Stroman, Sanchez. Then you're tied. He's tied with Waguespack and Clayton Richard with 10.
Man.
Yep.
10 is fourth.
Yep.
Wow.
I would say, just last week, you said, I've watched more Jays games since Bo Bichette joined than I did all the months before that.
Correct.
I would say the last week was exactly what it was like before Bo Bichette was here.
And I would say I didn't watch many of this. I watched some, but not many.
They almost get no hit almost every night.
Yep. They did get no hit not that long ago.
They can't really pitch. They can't really score.
No.
They can hit home runs. The rookies can hit home runs, and that's about it. That was the last week.
Which is, again, as we said, like that's fine.
Yes.
For this year.
So the big question on the back of that New York Mets stat, the Blue Jays are currently 56 and 89. They have 17 games left. Will they lose 100 games?
Yeah, for sure.
They can go
6 and 11.
6 and 11. You don't think they can go 7 and 10?
I think they can.
7 and 10 gives you, 99 losses.
So 63 and 99 instead of, here's the thing. Who cares?
That's my question. Does it matter to you if they lose 100 games or not?
No, not at all. There's no difference for me going 63 and 99, 62 and 100.
Because never in your life have you seen the Blue Jays lose 100 games.
Yeah, but I've seen worse Blue Jay teams than this, if that makes sense.
Mathematically, you have not.
But mathematically, half this team didn't play half the season.
Right. So it doesn't matter to you.
No.
See, the season's tenor changes in no way.
None.
If they win 17 straight, if they end up...
That changes things.
So if they end up in the 70s, they end up like 70 and 89.
If you win 17 straight games in the season, yeah, that changes things.
I suppose that's true.
But like...
They're not going to.
No, but like the difference to me between 99 and 100 losses, I'm not sure there's... Like,
what about 95 and 100 losses?
Still don't really care.
They went 11 and 6 down the stretch.
It's great. That's fun. There's nothing that can happen this season short of winning all 17 that I'm like, cool, this sets us up. They're in whatever it is, 3 weeks left in the season, more or less?
More or less.
In 3 weeks' time, the Blue Jays are in the exact same position they were a week ago. Unless, like, they go 0-17 and all the kids don't hit for those 17 games.
0-17 is definitely possible.
Definitely possible. But, like, even if they go 0-17 but the kids are still hitting home runs, I don't care.
Okay.
To be honest. Because, like, we knew, as we said last week, like, nothing's changed from a week ago.
Right.
Just the fact they lost 7 straight doesn't change when we said a week ago that nothing matters. And it's just about developing and watching the kids hit. Like, who cares? Like, yeah, it's not fun to watch. But, like, was it fun to watch for most this year other than that 1 month when Bo Bichette was going off? Like, not really.
I don't think they're going to lose 100 games for what it's worth.
And
I feel like they're going 500 down the stretch. But I could be wrong. I'm wrong all the time.
I don't think that what happens the next 17 games is changing the offseason plan, what came before it, what comes after. It's 17 games. Like, there's 162 of these fucking things.
It is hard to believe that we haven't seen 100 losses before.
It is, especially there's been some bad teams.
It's happened to the franchise, but we weren't alive.
Yeah. There's been some bad teams in our lifetime, but...
Yes, there have.
Surprised the Howie Clark Blue Jays didn't lose.
This is a much worse team, I will say.
Yeah, but again, half a season without the good players.
I'll say again that Wilmer Font is fourth in the team in starts.
It's an excellent point.
I'll say this before we move on. The one name that I talked about all spring.
Matt Shoemaker?
No.
Oh no.
Reese.
Reese.
McGuire.
Reese might be good.
Pack your bags, Luke Marley. Don't need you.
Do you think he overtakes Jansen next year?
No. Jansen is the star. Reese McGuire is awesome. I love Reese McGuire.
I love Reese McGuire too. I'm curious as to where as you pay more attention to that sort of inner workings than I do.
That dude can frame a pitch, let me tell you. That's who can throw and frame. Ooh la la, heart eyes emojis. I love me a backup catcher that can do the backup catcher stuff, which is catch and throw. That's why I hated Saltalamacchia so much. I hated
because he was bad.
Because he couldn't. If you're going to be a backup catcher, catch and throw. I don't care what else you do.
So do you see him as he
could not throw to second base?
Do you see it? So you see him in like the Deanna Navarro role.
He is, so to speak. He is Luke Maile,
but better.
But yeah, with younger, cheaper Luke Maile. They're not going to pay Luke Maile a dime more than they have to, and he will be up for arbitration next year. AKA Luke Maile is getting non-tendered. Luke Maile is probably playing in the IBL next year. He's a Long Island Duck.
Was he the Liriano trade?
Reese was in the Liriano trade.
Yeah.
Theft.
Yeah. It's great. It's a good trade. That's a good trade.
Drew Hutchison for Liriano and Reese McGuire.
Yeah.
That's a
great trade. Liriano was a valuable pitcher that in 2016.
We love Reese McGuire. That's all I'm going to say. Backup catcher who does snap throws.
I do like the snap throw.
Who tries to pick people off, who has an accurate.
He had a frame job. I think that
hosiery.
I think Drew highlighted it either last night or the night before.
He catches the low strike better than anyone I've seen in quite some time.
It's great.
I adore Reese McGuire. I'm not afraid. Who knows?
He seems like a Blake Murphy player. You know what I mean?
He is the Blake Murphyist.
Yeah. Just like a high defense.
Absolutely.
Can kind of hit. Not really.
Looks like a police officer.
Looks like a cop. He does. Oh my God, he looks like a cop.
Officer McGuire. I'm so in. And he does the one thing at the plate that you need to do if you're going to be that guy is just first pitch ambush.
Yeah.
Teams are going to look at you and go, this guy sucks. I'm throwing our first pitch fastball. If you hit 10 of those out of the park a year, we needn't look for anybody else to do your job.
See, this conversation is why how many games the Jays lose don't matter. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter. Because these are the conversations for this season.
Yeah, right.
It's about seeing what these young guys have, even if they're not consistently producing, because they're children.
Yeah.
They're not going to, no one, unless you're Mike Trout, for the most part, the young guys don't have MVP seasons in their first season. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like, we can talk all day about how many losses they have and how bad the pitching is. All true, all factual, not the point of this season.
Right.
If they lose 100 games next year, that's a different conversation.
It's going to be interesting. As I said last week, this is the last. I think next year, this time, if they're at the same record, we're going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No, but
not that we expect them to win the East, but
no. But if they lose 100 games next year, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But to your point, as we kind of talked about last week, if they lose, and it kind of goes against my whole thing of like 9,500 is no different, but it's context. If they lose 90 next year, still not great, but better somehow, other than like mathematically.
You're going to go 16-1 down the stretch here and finish with 90 losses. No, they aren't.
So what do you think?
In terms of losses?
Yeah, overall, where do they finish, you think?
I think they're going to lose 97 games.
Sounds about right.
I think
so that puts them what, like?
That means down the stretch.
9-8?
Yeah.
Seems about right.
That's a lot of losses still.
I'm going to flip it.
You're going to go 8-9? So that's 98 losses?
Yeah.
Yuck. Did I call them a 72-win team on this show once?
Yeah.
Ugh.
For sure.
I'm not even close.
To be fair, like a month ago it was possible.
Yeah. I suppose it was. Jacob Waguespack is not. You're not.
Matt Shoemaker's going to save the team.
I hope so. That's sporty enough.
That's the sports.
Sporty enough for me.
We did the sports.
Because what are we really doing here? We're building to the segment. Everyone, the new hotness.
The new hit. It's a new number one single.
Forget about Sad Not Sad.
We were the lo-fi.
Forget about
early indie recordings. Now we've got video. It's our major label debut. You just want the single.
And the only thing anybody cares about is does this freak you out? That's the jam now.
It's coming up.
And it's going to be on deck right after this. And we're back, ready to roll. The three segments
that everyone's talking about.
I'll start because I'm gonna let you go back to back here.
All right.
Good match of the week. I'm gonna take it back to the G1 tournament this year, G1 29. I am picking Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay. Now, people will say this. People are gonna say this wasn't even the best match of the G1. People will say this wasn't even either of these guys' best matches in the recent hit history, and I would agree with that with a big old capital B. But watching Ospreay versus Okada, I had every so often you experience something and you go, man, that to me, very much like we saw Bianca beating Serena. It was like, that's her emptying the toolbox. I was like, Okada is clearly the best wrestler in the world. because he can do anybody's style. Will Ospreay, I had this thing like a year ago.
Will Ospreay's a great name, by the way.
He's an aerial assassin. He was very much, everything was the same for him. And if you watch too many Will Ospreay matches in 1 week, you'd be like, I get it. I'm tired of watching this dude flip around. He had a great year. He's elevated his game to where everything feels fresh and new.
Flip around like an eel, some would say.
He's a flippy guy, yeah.
Because Ospreay.
Not bad.
Thanks.
And Okada matched him step for step, move for move. Some unbelievable sequences, unbelievable moves. Match of the week, Ospreay versus Okada from G1 29. Jake,
beautiful.
Song of the week.
Song of the week is a song called Denver Haircut by the band The Hold Steady, which I talk about a lot because they are my absolute favorite band. As in a video, you can see I have a Hold Steady tattoo on my arm. They were on Seth Meyers, I believe, last night playing it, which is very cool.
Cool.
It's their first they put out a new album 2-3 weeks ago, I want to say. First new album in 5 years. First with their classic, or I guess their newest lineup, their best lineup. And it's just nice to see, I didn't think I would really see them doing a new album and like a press tour on things like late night shows ever again. I kind of thought they were sort of settling into just doing residencies in cities every now and then, which they are for touring, but I thought that was just it. And so to get new music from your favorite band is always a blessing, and new album happens to kick ass, which is even better. So yeah, go listen to Hold Steady because they rule.
That rules.
Yeah.
New Hold Steady. And now, Jake.
Let me pull it up.
Here we go.
Okay.
Started out with
Zubes.
Yes.
Does this freak you out?
Okay.
Six Flags. The amusement park chain.
Yep.
United States, for Halloween, as part of their Fright Fest, which, Wonderland has their own, has a challenge called the 30-hour Coffin Challenge.
Oh my God.
The rules.
Oh my God.
Participants must stay in the coffin except for a 13-minute bathroom break every 3 hours.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Participants who step outside the coffins for any reason, with the exception of bathroom breaks, will be disqualified. All meals must be eaten in the coffin. Requirements: must be 18 or older.
Right.
Cannot have any medical condition that would make lying in a coffin for 30 hours a risk to your health.
Oh my God.
Must sign a waiver.
Yeah.
Must be willing and able to lie comfortably in a claustrophobic sized 2-foot by 7-foot coffin.
Oh my God.
Must provide your own pillow and sleeping bag or blankets.
Boy, oh boy.
Must check in at Six Flags by 12:15 p.m. on Sunday, October 13th. The grand prize.
What do you at? What do you win?
$600.
Oh my God. Value your time more than that.
2 2020 gold season passes.
Yeah.
And 2 passes for the haunted house.
Oh my God.
That's the grand. That's first place. Second.
Only one person can win?
Yeah, it's whoever lasts the longest, I guess.
Jesus.
Second place is just 2 gold passes and pass to the haunted house. Third place.
How much is a gold pass?
I don't know, like $120 or something.
Jesus.
Third place, 4 tickets to Six Flags, valid until November.
Oh my God.
4 Fright Fest passes for the haunted house.
Yeah.
Remaining participants, 4 tickets to Six Flags, valid till November. Zubes, does 30 hours in a coffin for $600 freak you out?
Of course. Boy, 30 hours is insane.
So,
you would go insane, right? Like
you would have to.
You're in the hole, basically.
To keep yourself not insane, you can do it as a pair.
No.
And have 2 of you in a coffin.
No. Much worse. That's much worse.
Isn't that
sealed? The coffin is sealed?
I don't know if it's sealed, but it's like you're covered.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I can't believe when I heard about this.
What kind of fucking?
When I heard about this they did it last year too, by the way.
And where there was a winner?
I don't know. I just found the website that said they also did it last year.
Wow.
The thing about this that blew my mind was not so much the existence, because people do stupid shit for money, but for only $600.
Madness. That is madness for $600.
Yeah. That's like that's $20 an hour.
I feel like
no, it's not.
I feel like
wait, is it?
I don't.
Yeah, let's say it is. Still,
I would not do it, obviously, because amusement park tickets is not nearly enough for me. I think that I could get in and have a nap.
I could do it for like 3 hours.
Yeah, I could go in and like sleep. 30 hours is absurd.
My question, and what freaks me out the most.
Yeah, you could die in there. In a coffin, which is...
I assume it's all supervised for the whole time because it would have to be.
Yeah, I would hope so.
But what about the like midnight to 9 a.m. hours when, sure, it's supervised, the park is closed? Is it better or there's the question, is it better or worse to have people actively walking around and making noise?
You wouldn't know, really, right? You wouldn't really know.
I don't think they're like...
It's not soundproof. You're right.
I don't think they're like I don't think they're for nice oak coffins. I mean, just planks of wood. But
I can't believe a human would put themselves through that for amusement park tickets.
No offense to $600.
No offense to Six Flags, but that's absurd.
Yeah.
Gross. It's gross.
Yeah, it sucks ass.
Who likes riding rides that much? That is.
I go maybe once every 3 years to Wonderland.
Mercy me. I don't even go to Wonderland. I don't really like it.
Yeah. Even if it was my favorite place in the world.
What kind of nut? Like, what kind of nut?
People do lots of stuff for free shit.
I think I could go and sleep, but I would probably sleep almost immediately. You'd sleep the first 6 hours, then you wake up.
I mean, not if you're starting in the middle of a theme park day. It'd be it's so loud.
Bring your earplugs. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. Bring can't have a phone.
Oh, fuck me. There's just no way you sleep that much. You sleep. And
you just be fucking sitting in a coffin for hours.
Yeah, that would
and you're not gonna have a comfortable sleep.
You'd go nuts.
You're not gonna have a comfortable sleep because you're in a coffin.
That's basically isolation, right? You're basically at the hole in jail.
It's pretty much torture.
Yeah, that's pretty much torture.
Except you get a bathroom break every 3 hours.
It's pretty much torture.
Also, only a 13-minute bathroom break after being trapped in a coffin the whole day. Probably gonna need longer than that.
Pretty much torture.
Yeah,
that's awful.
It sucks. It really sucks.
Well. I expected I expected the occult, and that's pretty close.
I debated whether to go like fact, like yours, or to go with this.
There's plenty. Yeah. I'll say this, and
no shortage of thing that freaked me out.
Yes.
Put it that way.
And people have been good at throwing in freaks out. We don't want to burn through them all right away.
No, there's a good one in our questions today.
Yes.
That I enjoyed.
That we'll get to. But I will say this. I'll say it now. The one thing that is the easiest thing, you could come on here and you could just say, does this freak you out? And then say whales. And the answer would be more than anything in the world. Whales I'm terrified.
Yeah.
But whales are horrifying.
They're so big. They're so big.
Whales?
The biggest whales.
I guess we're going to get into this now.
Yeah.
Whales live in the ocean, yeah?
Yeah.
Whales breathe oxygen, the air.
Yeah.
Whales don't breathe underwater and live in the ocean.
Permanently.
That's absurd.
They're not even amphibians.
Yeah, I know. Right. They don't come out. They live in the water.
They do like they're fucking like I'm out for a second and then they're back.
Unbelievable. And they're enormous.
And the size of skyscrapers.
They're mammals.
Huge.
They're mammals. That is fucking unbelievable.
So I had this debate.
The ocean is horrifying.
Had this debate. What's scarier? Did we talk about ocean or space?
Ocean.
Yeah.
Ocean.
Yeah.
You can fall in the ocean. You can't fall into space.
There are things in the ocean that have no pigment because they're too far down.
Yeah.
And we can't go there.
Space is fake.
Without like... We didn't land on the moon.
Space is fake. Don't buy it. Space, I think...
I would rather go to space, but the ocean is scary.
Before we move on, because we didn't I think space is scarier in terms of the unfathomable size.
Space is overwhelming.
Right. It's impossible to properly wrap your head around space. Ocean is scarier because it is like you could be lost in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
I'm
never going to get lost in space.
You'll never see everything in the ocean. Like, yeah.
And like,
exactly
I think, and to your point, like,
it would be a miracle to be lost in space.
I can't remember if I said this last night or if I've just said it over the week, but when we were at the cottage, looking up at, especially as a city boy who like never sees stars ever, looking up at a clear sky of stars is so overwhelming that it fucking, I feel it in me of how terrifying it is. And I can look at the water and just be like, whatever. Mm-hmm. But factually, the ocean is way scarier.
Get in the middle of that water and it's a story.
Or deep in that water. Oh my God. There are parts of the like I get there's parts of space I've never been to because obviously there's parts of the ocean we've never been to, and this is our planet.
This is going to end up, but
you can tell that I got stoned and watched.
I was about to say
Planet Earth.
I did a little stoned, just going around Google Maps.
Oh yeah.
Are you like truly understanding how big the Great Lakes are?
And like how much smaller they are than oceans?
Right.
Like
that, and like if you look at a map and you go and you just sort of, this is one that I got in a big argument with at work, is when you look at maps and you just go to like Antarctica or the Arctic, and it's like maps are so detailed and there's so much stuff, and then the Arctic's like, it's just white.
Yeah, because we don't go there.
We don't go there. That is fucking weird. It's 2019, and there are places on Earth we just don't go. You can't go to the Arctic. Like, what?
That like might not exist in years because we're just destroying everything.
No idea what's up there. It might all melt.
No wonder like dumb assholes don't care that the shit is melting. They don't know what it is.
It might all melt, and then we'll
if
see.
you told them like New York was melting,
boy oh boy,
maybe. But you know what I mean? Like it's
this whole show is about to be what this freak about.
We're all doomed. We're all so doomed.
We move forward because we have to, because we could just keep going on what freaks us out. Quite frankly,
absolutely.
Mailbag time.
Mailbag time
after this. All right, mailbag time.
Yeah.
Duncan, I don't know, says, what's your earliest sports memory?
Has to be Blue Jays.
I believe it is as well.
I'm going to think. They lost to Oakland in 91? No, like Minnesota.
Yeah, I remember the 1991
no, they didn't make
Blue Jays season.
Yes, I don't remember the whole thing because I turned 3 because I have an August birthday. So I turned 3 during the 91 season, but that season is definitely a memory because I also remember weirdly Kirby Puckett in the World Series that year.
Yeah. Chuck Knobloch?
Yeah. I don't know if I can tell you like the exact game.
I remember going to a game in like 1991 and writing about it in kindergarten or grade 1 and getting an award for writing.
The first
basically wrote a gamer at fucking
the
6
first
years
actual
old.
game, like full game experience I can remember is I went to a game in the ALCS in 92 against Oakland.
Must be nice.
And got scared because of the fireworks.
Oh.
Scared the shit.
Used to be a lot of fireworks at Blue Jays games.
Yeah, and they're great. Like in retrospect, it's like, boy, those are great. I get why they don't do them now because there's buildings and everything. But I think that's my first like clear one. Like I can remember being upset.
Right.
Even though it was very confusing. The Jays hit a home run. That's why they did the fireworks. So it was like, hooray. And also, this is horrifying.
A famous story in my family is that I sobbed and cried when the Blue Jays won in 92.
Oh, that's good.
Because they were on the road.
That's right.
And I wanted them to win in Game 7 at home. And they were like...
Oh, you sobbed and cried out of sadness.
Angrily. I was like, what the fuck? Like, winning in... Because you don't understand, like, winning the World Series is never going to happen again.
Yeah, even though it did the next year. But
right.
Yeah.
But, like, I'll go the rest of my adult life without even coming close.
For sure.
I was like, a selfish little kid. I was like, they're supposed to win at home. That's bullshit. Otis Nixon bunting? What's that? And I, like, cried. I was angry. My family was like, what? Because, like, you're a little kid who loves baseball, and the thing that you want to happen happens, and I'm upset about it.
Speaking of,
kids are weird. Kids
are really weird. I want to get away from the kid thing for a minute because I have a question that you just brought up. And
please.
It's been stuck in my mind for like literally 25 years.
Let's do it.
I think I know the answer, but I want to get your take.
Yeah.
Otis Nixon bunting was fucking crazy in that situation, right?
Insane.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to clear that up.
I mean, I get that you were a bit of a speed threat, and in the size of the moment, making a pitcher make that throw, it's a challenge.
Yeah,
but man.
Bunting for the third out in the World Series. Like,
you'd be killed for that if you did that today.
Yeah.
You'd be killed for that. You would fire Bobby Cox immediately for doing that.
For sure. Okay. I just want to clear that up.
Yeah. Belligerent asks, what esport could you go pro in?
It's not an esport, but NFL Blitz on the Nintendo 64.
Oh.
Would be, I'm really good at that game.
Also have to go, I can't, like, there's no current game.
No.
Because I'm past my prime.
Yeah. And like, and all the games that are esports, other than the sports games, are all way too twitchy and like, not Twitch the fucking thing.
Totally get you.
Like reactionary. I can't do it.
There was a time when I was 23, I could have, if it were around, been a professional NHL 08 player.
Really?
I didn't have anything else in my life.
Yeah, I had that for NBA 2K9.
Yeah, I was living with somebody, and she
weird
moved,
how it's 2008 and 9,
and she moved out.
Oh,
and I didn't have cable. We had really slow, crappy internet. That's why I had an Xbox 360, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And the only game I had was an NHL 08. So I would come home from work, and it was the only thing I had. It's literally my only form of entertainment for like 8 months.
Yeah.
So like I cover to cover could do, and I was a magician in that game. Like it was absurd. So now they have the EA SHL where you can lock into one player and be on a team. If that had been around at that point, I am fairly confident I would have been a top 100 player in the world.
I buy that. Yeah, we had
you couldn't like it's the old thing. We did this in college. We had SmackDown versus Raw, and we would play 6 players via tap, and we're like, oh man, we got to be some of the best people in the world at this. And someone would always go, oh, there's got to be a guy who plays it all the time. It's like we play it all the time. Like no one can play NHL 08 more than I am. It's literally impossible.
My friend John and I spent a year.
It's like 14 hours a day. You can't play more than that.
But I think it was my second year of university. Spent a year every day playing NBA 2K9 against each other online, to the point where we would like text. We'd be out at bars and text each other and be like 2K9, and we would leave the bar to go home and play the game.
It's absurd. But yeah, NHL 8, I there was a time. Now the NHL 20, it's a totally different game. I'm sure I could be a Joe Thornton sort of. I could be an old guy who is not the most skilled but knows where to be and gets points, but you wouldn't build a team around me like you would have once upon a time.
I play FIFA Online. Yeah, I can tell you right now, I am not.
There's too many. There's like 8 million people play that game.
And like I also like the top level of like video game now. It's like
it's barely the same sport.
No chance.
Yeah.
NFL Blitz is mine.
The Quad A player asks us, where does Bianca's accomplishment rank in the individual Canadian sports accomplishment?
It's got to be up there.
I put her right with Penny Oleksiak, basically. That was where I was at.
So she's the only Canadian to win a major.
Yeah.
I want to put her with like Mike Weir, but
I do too. Yeah.
But I think it'll be better than Weir's because Weir won one thing and disappeared.
Right. But we have to get.
We're just talking the one
moment, the accomplishment of winning the US Open. I have it with Penny Oleksiak.
It's definitely
and Mike Weir, that level.
Yeah,
which is about as high as you can get.
I'm trying to think what it would be higher. So we're talking individual accomplishment. What is higher than that in Canada?
It's right there.
Because they're the only, when you're the only person to do something, that automatically vaults you
correct
to the top.
Yeah. So I had that. I had the Penny, Mike Weir, Bianca as the top of the top.
And if we're talking individual, it can only be, 6 or 7 sports.
Yes. And I'll say this, I put it above Mike Weir, which I know maybe is like, but golf is different in that.
Yeah.
He obviously played the best. But she beat Serena Williams.
Yes, I agree with that.
Like the US Open in New York.
She beat the best in the world one-on-one.
Yeah.
Which why I think Penny Oleksiak is also above Mike Weir for the same reasons.
Correct. She set a Canadian all-time record for individual
against
medals.
The best in the world.
So I think it's Penny and Bianca at the top.
The only one I can think of that I might not put above, but at least on that level would be Jacques Villeneuve.
Ooh, yeah. That's a great one. That's really very good.
Like, he beat Michael Schumacher.
F1 is not like, it's so hard to even comprehend how ridiculous
it's hard to and also from a Canadian perspective, like, Lance Stroll's racing now.
Yeah, his dad owns the team.
But and he's like middle of the pack, very like unquestionably excellent driver.
I'm an F1 watcher now.
It's my dad's favorite sport. I've been watching my whole life.
Oh my god.
But
scrap this. We're F1 podcast now.
Oh yeah.
You watched the Netflix show?
No, I haven't yet.
So good.
Is it good? I hear it's great.
It's enough to get me watching F1 every weekend.
I should watch it then.
Sorry.
But in terms of the reason I kind of pump up Villeneuve is that he loves it. Wow. Fun fact: Todd Goldie used to race cars at Motorsport. What's it called? Mosport? What? The one in like Ontario.
What?
When he was like 20. Yeah. True story.
Man.
What the fuck is that called? Is it called Mosport?
Where's the garbage? Throw this out. We don't need this. We're going F1. We're Todd Goldie, the expert, coming in.
Oh, we could do that.
Oh my god.
But no.
Sorry.
I was gonna say about Villeneuve. The reason I might put it ahead of Penny and Bianca is because there have been other Canadian swimmers in the Olympics. Right. There have been other Canadian tennis players. I haven't reached the same heights. But there's been like 3 or 4 Canadian F1 drivers. There's like the Villeneuves, Stroll. Maybe there's another one. I don't know.
Boy, oh boy.
There's probably another, but you know what I mean? Like it's
totally
just
amazing. Yeah. I'm amazed. Wow. I can't wait to talk about F1 for a long time. We won't do it now. But.
No, but.
HDH2112 asks, can you listen to your voice without being annoyed? Your own voice?
No, fuck no.
There is nothing I love more in the world than my own voice.
I hate it
in terms of audio.
The fact that we wear the headphones to do this drives me. I hate it.
You don't have to.
But like, yeah,
you're supposed to.
Good. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
I have absolutely no issue watching myself on film or hearing my own voice.
Here's the fun thing about me. I've been a professional actor for 25 years. My two least favorite things are watching myself and listening to myself.
Amazing. I had it beaten into me in comedy school that it was the only way to improve. So,
which it is.
So I am very diligent I listen to this show immediately and I listen to it again generally. I usually listen to every one of our shows twice. Every time I'm on camera at Yahoo, I do a little film session. I add it to my reel of how long I've been on. Like every time I've been on air, it's on one big file now. As well as I'm constantly updating my best 5 minutes reel. So I have, with that constantly being updated, I am always watching myself and trying to improve to the point that I can add a new clip to that reel. So I do it every day.
I don't. I have to. It's a fight. To get I have not watched Degrassi with my fiance ever.
Wow.
I think we did it once when I was drunk.
You save the day a lot. I'll say that.
Gotta be on a computer doing something. That's about it.
We only watched the first season.
I'm not in as much of the rest. So.
Way back. We nailed it.
But I was in Molly's game for about 3 minutes. Was a fight with Cassie to get me to watch the movie with her.
That rules.
It's like 3 minutes. It barely factors into the thing.
She's proud of you.
I know, and I get it, and it's lovely. I have it to the point of if I'm putting an audition on tape, which I have to watch back because you can't send
for sure
a shitty tape. I have trouble doing it. I don't know what it is. You would think it would be beaten into me as well because I've been doing this for 25 years.
It's become mathematical for me. I've completely removed the that's me.
I'm definitely getting more comfortable with it as I get older, but I still this is a nightmare.
You have to almost pretend that it's not you. I think that was the key. Say that this isn't me.
But that's the thing. It is me, and it's like, I hate that.
I understand that. I get very much
all of the choices I have made for things I do creatively, an absolute nightmare.
Interesting. I can listen to my own voice, no problem.
No, never.
I've had to.
Oh, and when it's like a singing audition, I have to record and hear myself.
That is different.
Fuck that.
There's no way you'll ever catch me singing and listening to that. That's absurd.
It sucks.
But I've had to, in demos I've made, listen to the craziest thing is listening to yourself back and recognizing that you don't sound good enough and then doing it again.
My favorite thing now is this mute button because I can do this. Now I don't have to hear myself talk. It's the best.
It's great. People on the video watching us on YouTube will enjoy that.
Yeah.
And nobody else.
Listening to us will be like, where'd he go?
Gleason Avenue asks us, what's your favorite sports bar memory?
I mean, easy answer is the Raptors.
We did just watch Raptors win a championship at the bar together.
And we did drink champagne in an alleyway.
Yeah.
That's
hard to top that one. Hard to top.
If we're taking the Raptors out, though, because that's just
probably a Blue Jays thing.
It's too bat flip, probably.
Yeah. I am going to take. They didn't even win this game. The last game of the 2015 playoffs that eliminated them from
the Royals
with the rain delay and the Jose Bautista home runs. I
watched that at home.
That was a madhouse. That was lunacy in a bar. That was people are I am screaming. I am standing on a bench screaming when Jose Bautista hits that home run because I had just gotten the bat flip shirt.
Right.
So yes,
that would have been right then.
Hollering and drunk. And then they lost, and I paid my triple-digit bar tab and walked home in complete silence. I'm going to go a similar... It was absurd. I'm going a similar route. And I just said we're taking out the Raptors. I'm not, but I am taking out the win. I have two answers to this, both of the Raptors. Both from this year. Because you wrote a lot. Final two rounds. First two rounds, I watched the Kawhi shot against Philly at home. It was just the second two rounds, because I was like, okay, now we're serious. Game 5... against the Warriors at home when Kyle missed a shot at the buzzer. Oh, yeah. That was a similar feeling. You were there. That was a similar feeling to... It was supposed to be the moment. At home, that whole day was everyone just saying their favorite Raptors memories. Right. It was just this is the day they're winning the title at home. And that, to your point about the Jays game with the bar being a madhouse, that bar was... fire code violations. This would have exploded. Yeah. And the other one I'm going to say in a good way was game 6 against the Bucks. Making the finals was That was a party in and of itself.
It felt in a way, obviously it wasn't as big a party, but it felt in a way more emotional than I got weirdly more emotional than winning the title.
It was a coming of age moment.
It was, and I think also because that series was kind of in doubt forever, like winning the 4 straight after being down 0-2.
Sweeping the Bucks.
Kawhi's dunk, trailing down to go up 8.
Unbelievable.
Like that.
Any of that happening now seems unbelievable.
I was last week, I was just bored on YouTube watching some highlights of it. And it's like, when did this happen? How did this happen? Like, it's crazy. Also, if we're going older, 2010 Canada gold medal.
Oh, yeah.
The last time I will ever watch international hockey at a bar for sure. But also because in Toronto, that was the only experience in my adult life of actually getting to go nuts for something.
That might be my answer now that I think about it. Because I didn't watch it live that way, but so I watched it at home, went to work, and then we went to the Imperial Pub at Dundas Square, and they replayed the entire...
I was like after the bat flip, whenever we rewatched the game, yeah.
And it was on until 2:30 in the morning, and the bar was packed, and we were going nuts again. We knew what was happening, and you were already drinking because you're already celebrating it. And then you're like, "Here it comes!" And then it happens. like there was no last call that night.
Yeah,
the cops came in at like 3 a.m. and took a guy out because he like alcohol poisoning, basically. And we were like, "Oh, the cops are here. It's over." And they were like, "It's not over. We're just taking this guy out." And we were like,
right.
"What?"
Yeah,
like we drank till like 4 a.m. That was probably it. Because that's never going to happen again, as you said.
Yeah,
we'll never care about the Olympics that much.
It was crazy. Both in context in that way. And also like I had never experienced cheering winning or
anything ever.
I remember being in university and going to the bar, I think the next year, one of the World Juniors years where they tied it and then lost in overtime.
Yeah.
But like that tying goal, same deal. It was like, oh, I've never cheered in a bar. This is crazy. But yeah, that was up there.
How do you do it better than Sidney Crosby in overtime?
That's it. It was scripted.
Unbelievable.
Most gold medals in the Olympics. And I will never care again. Even if they
Couldn't imagine.
Even if they bring the NHLers back, who cares?
Couldn't imagine going to a bar for an Olympic hockey game.
No, never. Even if it's all the best play, I don't care. Don't care.
Last one, Dave Trezino. What's the better baseball acronym? Toot Blan or Fart Slam? Toot Blan, if you will, thrown out on the base pass like a ninny, which is it's sort of you making fun of the runner. Jake, Fart Slam is fielder
allowed run to score like a moron.
I think it's Fart Slam.
It's definitely Fart Slam.
That's good stuff.
It's so good. I never heard of that till this question. I had to look it up. It's great.
Baseball.
Fart Slam forever.
Fart Slam, Toot Blan. That is the mailbag. We will be right back with Sad, Not Sad. We're back to close it out, to ask the question that we always ask. I look fat. Damn it. I can't. Every so often I check over, I go,
oh no, the positioning of this is
breasts.
We got to wear the dark shirt. You can't.
For sure. I'm going to go baggy hoodie every time I'm in here from now on.
Yeah.
The question is sad or not sad? I'll go first. Jake, I am not sad.
Wow.
Before we went on break, I had a big long thing about my fiance's career.
Mm-hmm.
And she was called at the last minute to go to New York to cover the US Open.
That was very cool. Couldn't tell just based on, because I don't know the building well.
Yeah.
Where her was taken. I couldn't tell if she just went because she wanted to go or if it was work.
On call, bang. Bianca won on Thursday. She flew out Friday morning. Back on Sunday.
Very cool.
A beautifully, thoroughly written piece about the final.
Was very good.
Written like somebody who knows and loves their tennis.
It's the opposite of our segment.
And just like to remember her getting the Rogers Cup assignment in 2017.
Yeah.
And being like, I don't know anything about tennis. I don't know anything. And to watch her slowly fall in love with the game, and the women's game especially, to really like become an expert in not just the Canadians and not just Serena, but to know about the Ashley Bartys of the world, to know about Muguruza, to know about Simona Halep, to know about all these players and then get the chance to be there for the first Canadian to win a major and to write it for the Canadian press and to have her words all over the country and to write it like an expert with an excellent piece and then to come back in a very short time. Just so impressive. I'm just so proud. Yeah. Excellent job.
I will say this.
I ate Chinese food for 3 days straight.
There is no one I would, if they were like, who do you think should write the Bianca story? Like, the answer is Melissa.
Incredible, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So I was very proud. She did great. And that was it. It's small and it's simple, but as a follow-up to my previous thing, couldn't have been put in a better position, and was there because she earned it, and was there because, as you said, sending anybody else would have been absurd.
Yeah.
It was a logical choice, and she delivered a great piece and great work. 3 great pieces, to be honest with you, and had earned that spot through falling in love with the sport and becoming somebody who can speak on it with great knowledge and great ability, and go to New York and not be flustered, because traveling can be very stressful.
Just like, and like the piece was very like comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, I'm in my element writing about this thing.
100%. That's it for me. Jake, are you sad or not sad?
I'm also not sad for similar but different reasons.
We love our tennis, folks.
No, it's not. It's nothing to do with tennis. My significant other was also away this weekend for work.
Better halves.
Left on Friday, came back last night. We've been apart for work things before. Obviously, I've been in Montreal. She's been traveling, but I think this was the longest of her work when I'm in Toronto that she's been away. I also ate shit food for 3 days and, forgot to water the plants and was a fucking disaster. And my issues as a partner is a whole other thing. But like I feel like I might have said this on the show before. And if I have, whatever. The idea of, from where we've come from, of our days of, getting drunk and crying at bar hop together at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
To have someone to like miss is very nice.
Yeah.
And especially when that person is gone doing their job.
Right.
And doing a hard job. And like she was going out there to help interview people for a show that she's in the crew on. And to hear sort of her updates from the road of like, this is what we did today. This is what we have to do today. This is what worked today. This is what didn't work today. All those things. And just be like, man, I can never do this job.
100%.
Just like, and it's the pride of someone, of her being able to go out and do this job and do it well and do it on the road and in, 4 or 5 days. And she's been working really hard on this for a few months. It's definitely I feel fortunate to have someone that like comes home and is like, I'm like, yeah, you're home. And B, to have someone who is gone for reasons that make me incredibly proud of her and just like being impressed with your significant other is always nice.
Yeah.
Like, so that it's just like a nice feeling to like have that respect and that pride and that appreciation all kind of wrapped into one. And then, I'm sure it's the same for her when she comes home and nothing's done and I'm fucking ruining everything.
You got to set alarms on the last day.
I know.
The last day needs to be a series of alarms going off telling you things you need to do.
Yeah. I mean, I did. And the thing is, I had it in my head and I was like, she came home and I was like,
alarms.
I was like, look, honey, I did it. She's like, here's all the things that you fucked up. Which, like, fair.
Nobody's perfect.
But I'm certainly not. But
gotta have food ready as soon as they open the door.
Oh, that's true. I should have done that. But my failings aside,
absolutely,
her it's the opposite of failings. Achievements.
There you go.
Are great, and I am very proud.
To echo your sentiment to me, knowing what I know about her and her work, I cannot imagine someone more perfectly suited.
Correct.
To be like, is there people you see, Bianca playing tennis, Joy Votto playing baseball, Cassie doing what she does, and say, I can't imagine another person doing that to that level. Yeah,
and I'm sure Melissa's the same way. The way they throw themselves into it, and it's just like the commitment and the extra work and like the
quite literally unbelievable.
The emotion that it draws out of them is like, oh, this is what it looks like when the right person is doing the thing,
Yes.
Not imposters like us.
Well said. Well said. I've always you talk to I'm sure you still have single friends or whatever.
Yeah. Not as many as I used to, but some.
Same. But the thing that people don't understand, I think, is when you're in these spots with these people that you love so much and you can't wait to see, and you get these weekends where it's like, oh, suddenly I have all this free time to do whatever I want. You do whatever you want for about 2.5 hours, and you're like, I have nothing else.
I was saying to you on the way here, I went to
become a useless, barely person.
Cass left Friday morning.
Yeah.
I went to some friends of ours just to hang out Saturday night. And they said, do you want to come to ours or should we come to yours? And my exact answer was, I'll come to yours so I leave the house for the first time in 48 hours.
Yeah, I watched 13 hours of stand-up comedy on Netflix. I started and I was like, well, that's what I'm doing tonight. Yeah. I guess I'll watch all of it. I don't know.
Drew McGarry, I think, had a good bit last week on Deadspin about when you're alone in the house the first time and when your family leaves. And yeah, it's like for like 3 hours, you're like, this is great. I'm a bachelor again. I can do whatever I want. And then you're like, wow, this kind of sucks ass.
Yeah, what I want is the person I love to be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for Relationship Corner. Excellent stuff. Thank you for all your great questions, everybody. Thank you to Sean and Clay, and especially Dylan for doing actual work. And our new intern.
Yeah.
Hanging out in the box, taking notes.
I hope it's
about
not too warm in there.
Oh my God, that person's been in that box for an hour and a half. Our poor intern. In the box.
This is good. This will motivate us to cut the show down so you don't suffer.
Like me, just now realize that someone has been listening and taking notes for the last hour and a half? Horrifying.
11 and a half hours shorter.
Yeah.
No, 28 and a half hours shorter than being in a fucking coffin at Six Flags.
And he is not getting tickets to Six Flags. So anyway, thank you to all those people involved in making the show happen. And thank you, of course, for listening to Sportsfeld.